Welcome back to G-Brands, and we are not in New Zealand or Australia. We're in Old Blighty. Justin Marshall, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm much better for having the man sitting next to me in our company today, though. Big time.
One of the biggest names, rugby royalty, is on the couch with us. Zinzan Brooke, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm actually fine. Took a little bit of a early journey this morning to get to Brixton Town, and really looking forward to for the next 59 and a half minutes. And
There's no way
good.
we could fill 59 minutes with your highlights, mate. We'd be done, and it would take us the rest of the day.
I got to see a few of those highlights. We were in the corporates at Twickenham over the weekend, and we'll talk about that game. And Zinny was in the room with me as well, and he came on stage, and I'm standing there in front of all these supporters, put my hand out to shake his hand, and he grabs my hand and squeezes it, and I squealed. And all these old ducks just laughing their heads off, and Zinny's just absolutely alpha mailed me, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's Zinzan. It's Zinzan.
I never forgot my dad. My dad always said to, as I'm a farm boy, my dad from day dot, and all the boys, he said, when you shake a man's hand, shake it properly. And
Is that right?
Yeah.
My dad did the same, dairy farmer. Same thing.
Yeah, my dairy farmer, yeah. My dad, that's how I've done it, and I've always done it. And I do soften up on ladies, and I appropriately give them a gentle squeeze, but for a man, get in there and do the job.
So you obviously spotted a weakling,
Yeah,
and just dominated him.
Oh, he's
No, sorry.
He's a lovely man, and he knows what it's about, and just wanted to show who's boss.
these are podcast hands now.
Like that.
Oh, yeah, it's nice and firm, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if he got you early, like if when someone gets you early,
And you did get
Yeah,
your fingers.
he got me
with
early.
Yeah.
He alphaed me.
Well, good.
Oh, that's so sorry. Isn't it?
Yeah.
How good was the game, though?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
So Zinny and I played in 1997.
You captained?
I captained, yeah, and that was the last game that Zinny played at Twickenham.
And the last game you captained?
Last time I captained as well. We won't go into that. But on that day, mate, like honestly, we both agreed. We came off that field, sat down in the baths at Twickenham, and was thinking, how the fuck did we win that game?
Yeah, it was
We drew it, but how did we, we were, do you know what I mean? We were out of that game completely, and somehow
We just found a way
to get a draw.
Yeah, and but it just shows that England, didn't close the door on us. But it's sometimes that's what happens, and we the week prior to that it was okay. We were up in
Old Trafford, Manchester,
and that all went well, but we couldn't actually do it the following week. But it's what happens, and this one here. Today, and I just said to the guys that I was watching it with, there was about 10 of us, and I just said, look, what's really important for both sides is actually the first 10 or 15 minutes of actually show us the indications of how you're going to play and how you're going to run and if you're going to open up, because the conditions were good, and but both sides were still in it in like 15 minutes, and actually it just went on the whole game to the end.
When you're talking about, sorry, just jump back, that 97 game, that was kind of indicative of, like, there were quite a few games where you guys played in that era where you just never felt as a spectator watching that All Blacks team that you were ever out of it. There were games that you guys won that were close games, but there was this certain mentality that you guys had.
Well, that's what good teams historically have that ability to win when the opposition are having a real day out and they're playing out of their skins, or you're on the wrong side of the referee, or the bounce of the rugby ball, whatever it might be, or you're having a bad day, you still are galvanised enough to find a way to win. And in 97, yes, it was a draw, but somehow that the team's DNA was just to never allow a result that is going to be a negative to happen.
Yeah.
And we just always found a way. So the All Blacks must have been feeling like that. Because they would have been thinking there's a lot of things they did well in that game, and there's a lot of things they didn't do well. And they would have had that feeling. But it could be massive for them, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like winning a game when probably, arguably, you might not have deserved to won it, but that can be said for all sports at any time.
To get that culture with your team, does that spill over into the bus, the trainings, the downtimes? Are you guys? Is everyone always? Is that culture constant? Is that like something that is so deeply ingrained that no matter what you're doing, you're competing, whether it's on the rugby field or wherever you are, and within that team environment?
Well, I just never stopped. I wanted to win anything. It doesn't matter was a just anything small or minute. I just wanted to win, and look, it didn't happen all the time, but you got to give it a shot, or why do it? So that's part of the anything, and that's part of the journey in life, and it's your part of your DNA of how you want to be and respected, and what you're thought of when you're not there. So and if it's positive, then happy days, but if it's not, then you're just going to be a number in the history book.
So what we're talking about is leading on to that. Like if there's a group of guys playing cards and Zinny was walking past, he would want to sit down and then win every hand. If someone was playing backgammon, he would sit down and want to win every single game. I remember when we were playing, the young guys in the team were playing cricket in the corridors of the hotels, so we'd have a taped up tennis ball and we'd be playing cricket in the corridor of the hotel.
That's right, yeah.
And then he would come walking along, give me a bowl, then he wanted the bat, and then you couldn't get the bat off him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so I was hitting the sixes all day.
It got a bit spicy when Jeff Wilson was ripping them down, though, to be fair.
I know.
Because that tennis ball, when it's taped up with tape, can still sting.
Yeah. And he made it turn when you actually, if you tape it on the one side, the wind restriction with the hair on the ball he can turn the ball. So it's credit to him. He was
well, he's a black cap at the time as well, wasn't
he? Exactly right. Yeah.
Last guy you want to be playing indoor cricket with.
Yeah.
The game of the weekend then, one of the standouts for me, and I'd like to get especially your thoughts on Wallace and Titi. Have you guys seen a player in recent times that has burst onto the scene and made such an impact as this kid?
Yeah. Well, I was going. Yeah. If I was playing against him, he would have asked the question of myself, because, one of the two of the best guys that I played against, because I don't play against number 8s. You play your open sides or blind sides.
As a number 8.
And the two of the best blindside flankers were Richard Hill from England and Ruben Kruger from South Africa. And, both of them had that mongrel, but they produced the performances, and your man on Saturday was like that. So it's absolutely positive. But what you can't do is just get ahead of yourself. Yes, we won the game, but it was small margins. But it could have gone either way. But but we're praising a guy that can potentially be there for the journey and make a name for himself.
What do you see enough of him? Because a lot of the debate, probably led by me, about him is, I feel he's in the wrong jersey because he's a number 8.
Yeah.
And the All Blacks have said that.
Yeah.
Right. Scott Robertson's come out and he said he's a number 8 that can play blindside.
Yep.
So he's playing blindside because why? Do you feel Ardie Savia is a better number 8 than...
Ardie can't play blindside.
No, but he can play open side.
This guy here should be in the 8 jersey. Give him a shot. But what I'd like to do is I wouldn't do that against Japan or a easier side. I'd actually ask the question. Right, here we go. Let's. But I'd warn him. I'd warn him. I'd give him a notice. They say, right, you're going to be playing blindside, but next week if you perform, I'd be. We're going to play you 8. We're going to play you 8.
Because you didn't get much of a warning when you got asked to step up and actually debut, did you?
It was 48 hours. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was on the Thursday when I was just going to bed on the Thursday night. So Brian Lahore and
to also set the scene. This is the amateur era where it wasn't like if you were in the squad of 33, it meant you were getting a game on.
It was 26 in the squad.
It's highly likely you're almost out in the piss on a Thursday night before. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's lucky that he found him in his room for a start off.
It was like that there, but it was like it was 48 hours notice, and I just nodded my head. I said, "Oh, thank you." And I was going, right, okay. And I was going, shut. And he said, by the way, because I didn't know, and I was quite tired, but
quite tired.
Well, I was
quite hungover. Where?
No, I wasn't tired, but it was because I was practicing. Because he just said to me, he said, by the way, you're going to be leading the Haka.
Oh,
we'll just throw that in
just
there.
To do that.
Yeah,
as well,
you're going to be leading the Haka, and I just nodded my head. I said, yes, okay. And I was going, God, I don't know the bloody Haka. I don't know the the first bit.
Yeah.
And so I was practicing. That's why I was tired, because I was going, bloody hell. And but I still didn't get it right. And but I just said, look, if I just do the Haka and get that little bit, it was a little bit plasticky, but it was. But I got that out of the way, and I said, right, just look after the game, and I just cracked on. But it was, that was the first time. But I wish I had a week's warning if I was. But you didn't have a week. No, you didn't have a week to get ready for it. So,
it was against Argentina, wasn't it?
It was against Argentina, yeah. So, and I was lucky because it was a Sunday, and Michael Jones doesn't play on Sundays.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I got the debut, and because you only got 26 in the squad, there was only four loose forwards, 5, because I could cover all 3, but Michael Jones couldn't play on Sunday, so they couldn't put. I think. Actually, who was that? Was it Wurzel?
Probably was yeah.
Was it Andy?
And Bruiser would have been there too, was he?
Bruiser.
Who's Wurzel and Bruiser?
Mike Brewer. Mike Brewer and Andy Earl, Canterbury blindside flanker.
Yeah.
Proper mongrel dog. And he had that, the element of toughness and all that sort of thing, and it was good. But I think it was only 5 loose forwards. 5 loose forwards, and there's 26 in a squad. And you only had 21 on the thing, and the whole thing, which make a point now is that I think it's much better now having these, because if you want to, you don't ever give your test jersey away, and you get either a broken leg or a broken ankle. If you go with a broken finger, you strap the broken finger up and you carry on.
Yeah.
But, because you didn't want to give the jersey away.
I was going to say, how'd you get Buck Shelford's jersey then? Because he played on with when he lost the nut.
Correct. Yeah.
Hard job.
He didn't lose the nut. It's not like it's buried in the stadium at France or anything. He still had it. It just wasn't attached to where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, we were all watching
My point stands.
Yeah. We were all watching sewing it up. It was quite interesting that. Did you?
Did you?
You watched it after the game?
Yeah, after the game. And I went, ooh. Yeah, it was, it looked painful anyway.
Shit.
Yeah, but, the old scrotum was definitely out.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Oh, my days.
Yeah, so
was Buck must have been, was he finished then?
No, because I 87?
Yeah, because you came in, you were uncapped in the 87 World Cup, weren't you?
I think I was the only Māori boy that actually played that day.
Really?
I think I...
Yeah?
Yeah, I think because the front row was Fitzy Lowy and... no, it must have been Steve McDowell, surely. Why didn't he actually eat it?
Mate, you had that mullet. It was good for it.
Yeah. And there was Murray Pearce and Gary Wetton, Alan Wetton, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I think you're right. I think it was Mike Brewer.
Yeah.
Should be remembering your teammate.
I know, it's hard, mate.
And, yeah. And then David Kirk, Foxy, we don't need to talk about the backs because, we get them the ball and they do what they're supposed to do. That was my journey. It was like bloody hell, but knowing you're playing your debut on a Thursday, going to bed was interesting. But
How did you cope with just on Buck Shelford? Because I remember as a kid, like the Bring Back Buck campaign in New Zealand was huge. Did you feel, and we all hated Auckland.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, I mean, the whole country hated Auckland. Like they had
everyone hates the Crusaders now. It's success breeds that kind of hatred. It's more envy than hate.
Correct. Yeah. Because we had the, the whole Ranfurly Shell thing.
Yeah, for too long.
Yeah, well, it was too long. But and I always say the success was our failure because we became boring because we were so successful. And then people didn't want to go to a game and pay $25 or $10 to go and sit in the stand here. And then I remember, and I was a plumber and gas fitter.
Yeah,
because it was amateur days. So I'd have to go into a studio and do a little a promotional thing there. Hey, look, we've got Zinzan Brooke and a few of the other guys, doing a little wee live broadcast.
In your overalls.
Yeah, in your overalls, and then having a chat, and then we go back to work. And it was just we didn't get remunerated either. We didn't get paid for that. It's doing it for the love of the game.
Did you feel the Bring Back Buck campaign at all?
Well, I heard all the things, but it was I'm going to take nothing away from Buck because he was a I was with him in the New Zealand Sevens in Hong Kong, but I knew I had. I knew I had better passing skills off both hands which is what I learnt. And Rob and I and Martin, my other brother, and my dad, he taught us from day dot. He just said, look, because you don't know what position you're going to be in, but you make sure that you're the best passer off both hands because you don't know the position. And this is when I was 5 years old. This is when we were 5 or 6 years old, and that's the journey. And I listened to that there, and we used to practice all the time. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Didn't you have like a rugby golf thing?
Yeah, happening? We played rugby golf. Yeah, our backyard, which I thought was the house had a bloody 25-acre backyard, and we played rugby golf, and we used to do drop kicks to the trees. Well, you have to do the punch. You have to do left and the right. You have to alternate your feet and do curve the ball. And then when you get to the tree and if you can kick it, you can do a drop kick and hit the tree. But what you have to be careful though is if you get one of there's two trees that you got a big that's not wrong. That's a video. I was going to say a big trunk, a big trunk of a tree, and you kick to the branches so you don't get stuck. Because when it gets stuck in the tree, which it did happen a few times, you got to go and get the tractor, which had a cage on it, and then you stuck a ladder on it. And then you climb up to the tree and get the bloody ball out. So
what a shambles!
What it was, yeah. So
how old were you when you were driving the tractor to get the ball out?
About 10 years old.
Great.
Well, it was a David Brown. It was a 990. So So.
But you would have been driving the tractor around the farm at that stage anyway.
Well, I used to be sitting. We always used to. What Dad used to do, Dad in there, but you'd sit in the right like here, and then I'd be sitting here, and then you think you're driving, and then Dad's holding the wheel, and you're just sort of steering it, and then a couple of times, and but that's how you learn how to. That's how we learn how to do it. But it was it was a great journey, and I think that was a big part of all us boys making us who we were today, because we were, and then when you sort of go into the town and you sort of think, shit, these guys don't have a Scooby-Doo. They don't know.
They don't know how to pass.
No, they don't know how to pass.
And that's key for rugby.
Yeah, absolutely.
That must have been quite eye-opening when you did get to the top level, because you would have got to the All Blacks.
Yep.
And you've got all these skills that you must have seen that no one had these skills in the forward pack. You must have seen that.
Yeah, well, you do. And one of them was sort of the moments, which I actually, so one of my sort of special moments, which I liked, which was it was actually in that Bledisloe Cup match at Wellington in 96.
Oh, that game,
the wet game,
that game there, and that was you hold that there, and then it was a pass. We were going to the right,
yeah,
right, and you passed the. I think it was to Mertz.
Yeah.
And Mertz and I had I don't know who it was on the other, I think it was Cully.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the ball, but I had to go and get the ball because I knew the opposition guy was coming up quick, and it was one of my best distributions
That's what you remember?
I remember that there, and I was just like, wow, if I had not gone and met the ball, that wouldn't have gone. If I had actually put my hands like here and then I'll wait for the ball.
If you had received it rather than going to get it.
Yeah, you can see me just holding it like that there, and I had the ball like this, and I went, and just it was just a finger pass, just let there, bang like that there, and the ball landed right in the basket for Cully to score the try, and that was at the conditions in Wellington were shocking. It was,
We're going to try and clip that up for social media, and we're going to label it Zinzan Brooke's favourite.
Yeah, it's my
favourite ever pass.
And I know, but the game was sort of that game was in the bag, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
But, So But
well, that was when they went off when we started doing the Haka.
That's right. Yeah.
Because Campo didn't face the Haka ever.
No.
I've actually forgot about that, but someone reminded me about it. Whenever he was playing against the All Blacks, he used to go away and do little chip kicks.
Yeah. Good on.
But that day, the whole Aussie team went.
Yeah. Right.
And did ball drills down in the
that's right.
thing.
Behind the goalpost.
Yeah, and we were busy doing the Haka. There was no one there to do it to.
Yeah.
It was like...
Right, you want to do that?
Yeah.
We're going to do this. And,
how good was the Haka on the weekend, though? England.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I love that. Yeah.
Me too. I loved it too.
Mate, that was extended. That was extended, wasn't it? Because they did it. Did they do a?
Well, the All Blacks moved forward as well.
That's right.
Which
Yeah,
they don't usually do.
But it's only the leader, wasn't it? But there was about the whole of the group.
Yeah, the whole group.
Yeah, I thought it was
brilliant.
fantastic,
and the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, World Rugby for all their genius go and find both sides. Yeah. But nothing happened.
Yeah.
The commentator summed it up so beautifully. Sporting rocket fuel.
Yeah. And the game then delivered.
My God.
And the players didn't end up in a punch-up or anything. England confronted it, which we love.
Yeah.
Like any time the opposition, when I was doing the Haka, came at us, that was like, right, let's go, game on. Good response, you're respecting it.
Yeah.
But equally, you're staunch as well. You're ready to rock and roll, and so are we. Let's go.
Because there's only ever one or two teams that have actually consolidated and actually marched forward. Well, I think it was was it South Africa? I think one.
South Africa did, yeah.
And I think England with Martin Johnson, I think, have done it before.
Old Trafford. When Richard Cockrell and Norm Hewitt.
That's right, yeah.
I was captain that day.
Oh.
Do you know what the worst thing was? I was so nervous about being captain. And the level of players that we had in that side, like Zinny and all that, they all fair play to them, because I was only 23 at the time, but they backed me. But I was really nervous about making decisions and stuff, because these guys are, 10-year All Blacks.
Yeah.
But anyway, what made it worse was after that Haka, the referee pulls me aside and he goes, "You need to get your team under control. Its discipline is fucking disgraceful."
What?
And I'm like,
after the Haka?
I said to him, we haven't kicked off yet. I'm already, the game hasn't even started, and I'm getting a warning about my team being out of control.
And he's 23.
This is
holy
like,
hell.
oh my
Do
God,
I
where's
really
this
want to
going
be
to
captain?
You must have had a few that walked up and tried to face off with you when you were playing.
No, mate, I just get on with the job. Just like, do the Haka, do it properly, and address what you see in front. And I respond to things that if you want to do that, okay, that's fine. If that motivates you and gives you an edge, fine. But let's bring on physicality and let's play ball. And, because you always got to back yourself that you're going to front up and deliver, and it doesn't always go to plan. But collectively, if you're a solid group, and that group that we had there with that 90.
96, 97.
The 96, 90, even that 95 team, mate, that 95, 96, 97, and it's like, oh, mate, it was just a. Oh, that's a very, very special group, and absolutely loved it. And
the thing about Zinny, like honestly, So you look, because it reminds me of that game in Wellington. Reminds me of exactly what Zinny's like. So again, one of my first Test matches was '96. We played Scotland that year, didn't we?
Yep.
In the white jerseys.
White jerseys.
At Eden Park, where it rained for a year in one day. Like, honestly, it was pissing down.
Yeah.
But he comes up, so this is my first Test match ever in New Zealand, because I debuted the year before but hadn't played in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So all my family and everyone was there, and I was nervous as hell as well. And before the game, not during the training week, he comes up to me and goes, "Marsh, you've been thinking about this move. When we get close to the line, we get 5 metres out from the line, we're going to do it." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I just want to go out there and do my shit, man. I don't want to. He goes, "Well, I'm not telling Hardy about it," who was the coach. "I'm not telling Hardy about it. I just want to keep it between me, you, and ice."
Yeah, that's
so
right. So
again, Michael Jones. And I was like, "Right." He goes, "This is what we're going to do." So he tells me about it, and he said, I'll go to give you a little pop pass. You're going to bounce out, and then you're going to come back on an angle to ice, and then I'm going to do a loop off ice, because he's going to give it to me back on the outside. So do you know your role? And I'm like, yes, Zinny, I think so, sir. You know. And sure enough, so we do it. We get 5 metres out, and he goes, "We're doing that move." It doesn't even have a name. We're doing the move.
Was it the one we did against the box? And the other was the
no, not that one. This one was a different one.
But,
But we didn't tell anyone. So none of the forward pack knew. Yeah, Mertz didn't know. Nobody knew. We just went out there and we did it, and sure enough, he scored. And the same thing in 1996. He said another one. He said, "I want to do the one where Walter, I bounce out,
go
hard at him, varsity. Walter comes back on
the angle, and slows the defence down, and I'm going full on there, and then there's always a hole."
And he did. He scored. He scored again. The thing about Zinny was all these moves were revolving around him scoring. Like, it wasn't him giving the last pass to me, and I'm going over like,
he's not setting you up.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that. You can do that further out. But you're not going to get to. You won't get to the goal line. But you can. There's inside opportunities for those inside or out, because you've got a centre that's not involved, and he'll run straight through off outside of the inside centre, and you can offload to your right or your inside to your 9.
Did you score? Did you score in '96, the famous Springbok game? Did we do that varsity and you score in that as well?
92. I scored that in 96.
Yeah.
That first, in
Pretoria.
That's right.
Yeah. Same move.
Yeah.
So that's the same move. The one
when we won the series for the first time ever in history against South Africa.
Was it the 13th or 12th time? 12th time. We've never won on South African soil.
Yeah. Really?
And that for me, and hence why in that exactly the same game, when I did the drop goal, when I was screaming out to him, and I just said, because
he worked out our code.
What do you mean?
Scream louder.
He worked out our code. I don't know how he did, but he worked out our code.
Whose
our
code
was 50.
50
for a drop kick between me and Mertz. And that's, again, it's something that we didn't tell anybody else about, because you don't want people interfering and getting in the way or whatever, you know. And I just knew when Mertz calls 50, he's directly behind me. So I hear 50, 50, 50.
And this was about 10, 11 minutes to the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it was
very important stage of the game.
5 points up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were.
Yes, that's right. Because okay.
So I'm hearing 50, and obviously turn to pass and expect to see Mertz standing there, and I see him grinning back at me.
Yeah, and I'm going.
I'm like, but you see, if you ever see it, watch it again.
Marshy! You just watch Justin when he turns around and he has this call. He turns around. He was just about to pass it, and then I screaming. And you hesitated.
I didn't.
Yeah, you hesitated. Then he
because I saw it was you. Because I was like, I can see. Oh shit! It's Zinny. It's not Mertz.
And he gave it.
Then I'm equally thinking, again, that this is such an important moment.
Yeah.
But I know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
And so you see my head come up, but I've already gone into the motion, haven't I? So I let the pass go. Wasn't a great pass, but anyway,
it was fine. It was straight in the breadbasket.
Then honestly, bang.
Yeah.
Far out, you got that well.
Yeah. And
Didn't you?
made good contact, went straight through, boom, and that pushed us to the only reason why it was because of the 5. And I was like, you know what? Because we'd been battering them, and we weren't. They were fully on defence, and we weren't getting over. And I didn't think we were going to score a try, so I actually just righto, here we go. I'm going to put us down to 8 points, which meant then there was 5 or 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Then they had to score twice. Get a converted try and a penalty.
Yeah.
And I said, there's no way they're going to do that. And so
They had a goddamn good dig at it, though.
yeah, they did, because they were humping our line
we
about the
were
last
hanging on,
3
man.
minutes, and we were hanging on. And our defence here, and there's a great shot when all of us, all the forwards and there's a few of the backs were, excuse my French, but on our ass.
Yeah.
And
You can say what you like. Keep it, let's get
we're
raw
on our
on
ass
this.
because it was just, it was just, and that there meant, yes, I know it was a drop kick and it was 48 metres out, but that drop kick in the World Cup, we'd already won the game. Jonah scored 4 tries, but that for me, for the people of New Zealand and New Zealand itself, that meant more to me beating South Africa on South African soil. Yeah, and that's why I'm happy. So yeah, that epitomises what that meant to me as a Kiwi, and it didn't matter if it was Billy Mertz, as long as the goal goes over. Happy days.
So he's aiming at the tree.
I was aiming at
You're aiming at the tree.
Didn't need no tractor.
Yeah, really good.
Didn't need no tractor to go
Yeah,
get that ball right between the middle of the post. Boom,
Go
far,
and
man. It was
bitch.
good.
No.
Let's go back to that 95 drop goal. I mean, you've definitely talked about this a lot. But your brother kind of
First time with you.
Your brother kind of set it up.
Well, I do have to. My brother was quite good. He's not renowned for Gary Owens, the big old up and under, but he did it over the side, and I think that's good on you, Rob. And it went down to the 22, and it was a bit of an open play, and then it was actually that Will Carling was the one, and he was the one that I think he was trying to kick it into touch, but he sliced off his foot and actually rolled in to myself, and and it wasn't. And the moment of there's a moment when the ball is going along the ground and it bounces up, and when it bounces up, I was about 55 metres out when the ball bounced up to me.
Caught 70. Just caught 60, 70.
So, 67 metres, and I just sort of I jogged into it, and I went, but that's when I
started running, didn't you?
I started running because I was going to, because
Just carry, and then thought,
no, I was going to, because I did, but before the Gary Owen, I went like left to right, and the Jonah, and I had Mike Brewer on me, so I said, right, okay, we can do what we have to do. But it was actually the ball when it was actually going along the ground, and actually when it bounced into the post, and I saw the ball in between the posts, I went, I'm going to kick this, and that was that. There, it was no pre-plan or anything like that. There, it wasn't. It was just straight off the cuff of instantly, right, I'm going to kick this. And it was exactly like back on the farm, kicking, and that's what we used to doing running kicks, and kick it left and right foot. But that day I kicked it with my right foot and went straight through. So it was only. I'm pleased about it, but it was.
I'm pleased about it.
I was pleased about it, but the big day here. What I don't want to do is overshadow us as just a 3-pointer, because we had a special guy on the bloody wing that made people watch rugby who didn't, and he was ledge, and he was 18 and a half years of age, mate. He's a freak,
Jonah,
and God bless him. He's not. Clearly not with us now, and he's a brilliant kid, and I don't want to take anything away from that there. But I had a kick, but it was probably just the jersey number that did it, was why people sort of think about it. But I don't want to take anything away but what Jonah, but it was
Why didn't you ever take a place kit? Well, look, so I'm guessing you've got that in your repertoire.
Well, I did that in the New Zealand under-17s when I was a goal kicker.
There we go.
But I was the loose head prop. And
what?
Because I was 104 kilos when I was 16. And,
so you went from loose head to number 8.
Well, you don't know what position you are. So I was loose head prop, and and I made because I played for my club in Puhoi, little old thing, and because I was one of the bigger kids, and so I held the scrum up, and I did all right, and then developing the skill sets, I was going, goodness me, it was So that's when I changed the positions, and I started playing loose forward. Well, first 15 I was fly half because I was one of the only guys who could kick the ball. Yeah.
And pass.
Yeah, I could kick and pass, and and I said that's just a basic requirement of a 10, but none of the guys could actually do it. And I said, look, I can. I just told the teacher, I just said, I can do that, and I did. So I was the first 15 goal kicker.
I bet you played first 11 cricket as well, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
We found a weakness.
Well, yeah, but back in those days, we did a lot of sport. I did New Zealand badminton. I played for New Zealand. I played badminton New Zealand final. So hand-eye. Yeah. So because my mum was my mum played netball and tennis and badminton, and she introduced us to badminton, and so because I love that whole part of me, my DNA, because we start like in our little wee town, there was 30 kids at our school. And we used to have the local hall. The local hall would, we had badminton. And then so the kids started badminton, and then eventually when we got better, we went to a place called Kumiu, which is just north of on the west coast, just north of Auckland, and we started Kumiu, and then that's when we went, wow, okay, these guys are good, and then it started, there was about 12 or 13 years of age, and then that's when I sort of went through to go to the New Zealand finals, and I made the final. I didn't win it, but it was just nice. And I played in a place called Timaru.
Yeah,
just
south of Christchurch.
Yeah, and that was just fantastic.
Is there anything else that you're hiding from us that you can let us in on now, where you made the national representative or something?
I played basketball. Basketball, I loved. The hand-eye thing is just great. It's great skill sets for
Which
that.
Which NBA team did you play basketball?
No, it was one of those sort of things. It was just like, it was always, in the daytime it was, because that was a sort of a night thing. It was like an early evening but I didn't sort of gravitate to it. I preferred watching it on TV, but it wasn't one of sort of, I was, just sort of athletics, cricket, and rugby, and that was a sort of
just dabbling in each.
Yeah, we didn't have time because of because we're on the farm, and there's jobs and there's chores that you have to do. So
there's farmer strength to build.
Well, milking the bloody cows before the Saturday rugby. You got to milk the cow before the Saturday rugby.
And when we're talking about milking the cow, you're talking about. You're not talking about cups on, cups off. You're talking about hand milking into a bucket.
Hand milking into a bucket, and then we got to put it into the separator to do the cream and the milk. And
no wonder you crushed my hand. See, when I grew up on the dairy farm, it was cups on, like a suction.
Well, we did that there. But we had our last cow shed was what was it? I think it was a 38 rotary.
Really?
Yeah, 38, because we had 400 Friesians when we closed out, 450 Friesians, something like that.
Yeah. Mate, we could talk about dairy farm.
You've lost me here. I don't know what a Friesian is.
A rotary is a thing that goes round and round.
Okay.
Or herringbone.
Herringbone. Yeah, we had the herringbone in the thing. We had a 15 aside herringbone, and then
which means you've got cows on each side.
Yeah,
and they basically you walk down this trench, and in the trench you're just getting. Like there's cow shit coming, or like down the back of your neck, or like you just wear it.
Don't you? You don't worry about that. That's part of growing up, and But
they breed them tough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about because we've had Cullen on the Christian Cullen on the show as well, and Marshy's got a similar story where when they've come into the All Blacks, there's this thing about who you're going to be rooming with.
Yeah.
And Marshy, you've told the story about your first roomie being Mr. Zinzan Brooke. Were you purposely put in those positions where the new kid came in and you were there to suss them out, or what was your thinking when you had these new kids coming in?
It's about sort of because of the 8-9 combination is about creating a relationship, and that was exactly the same in the '87 World Cup. You know, they did rotations, and you want to make sure, you know, because you want to sort of galvanise the team by actually knowing a little bit more about the person, individual, as opposed to like, he's from Canterbury, I don't want to room with him. That's or vice versa. Oh, he's from Auckland, blah blah blah.
What did you think of Marshy before he came in?
Well, hang on,
because Marshy, and you can tell Zinny to his face what you thought about him.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, Marshy. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to play with the best players, and he was the man. And I felt very confident that he would do the job and do it right, because you know, he did it domestically. So if you're doing it in that arena, then happy days. It's absolutely fine for me. So I felt comfortable rooming with him because because I was the senior guy, but I wanted to make sure that he was at ease, as opposed to putting pressure on him, because that, you don't want to do that to the guys that are just coming in. Because I remember, and I don't forget, the time that I came in, I was going, oh my God, Jesus, this is like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like 21 years old. Yeah. And I was like, and I was going, Jesus, this is, and when you're saying, when you're an All Black, and all of a sudden you start doing all these little bits and pieces that you gotta do, that you're sort of I was a farm boy, and it was just like, wow, it was just so out of. It wasn't an ordinary day when you're with an All Black and representing the All Blacks, and you need to uphold the brand of the jersey and your position and all of those little bits and pieces, which can place pressure on players.
That's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, and some players don't cope with it, and that's why I was the senior guy, and I sort of felt that the best thing I could actually do is just to make at ease, just to make him feel comfortable.
It's so nice to hear you say like such lovely things about Marshy and how you thought he was the man. Marshy, what were your thoughts on Zinny?
See, he won't remember it, but obviously, like, he was in that Auckland side, wasn't he? And I was playing for Southland in sort of 92, 93, 94-ish.
Southland, yeah.
But we weren't. We were second division, so we weren't playing against Auckland. But we were seeing their success, and equally you got these like flamboyant rugby players who are not like a Southland number 8, who just goes off the back and rucks people and carries and rarely passes. You've got this guy punting the ball and reverse passes and all that sort of carry on. So you're thinking, fucking hell. Anyway, and then so I go up and I end up at Canterbury. And we got the Ranfurly Shield. We won it in '94 against Waikato. I didn't play, but my first year was playing in '95. And we go through that entire season defending the Ranfurly. Now that was right. There's no super. So this is in 1995. So
it was peak, that Ranfurly Shield era for Canterbury. I was on the embankment for that. It was unbelievable. There's no games that I've been to since that come close to that as far as atmosphere.
With the Shield, we had some real tough challenges that year. Like even counties were a handful because they had Jonah and Joeli Videri and guys like George Laupepe in their back line. And
that's good.
Man, they were a really good side. And so we defended the Shield against all of the opposition in front of 35,000 people every week, and then these guys come down.
These tossers.
Yeah. And it's fair. The whole country hated them.
And their team was stacked, man.
Yeah.
But we were playing well. And so, like, you know, we'd been to the coalface a bit in some of these challenges, but we were a good side, but we were young, and these guys were battle hardened. Anyway, Zinny and Fitzy in particular picked on me.
Did they?
That entire game.
What did they say?
They were just like little things like when it was going into half time, they'd said plenty before that. Oh, make sure that the little baby changes his nappies and and I'm like, yeah. Oh, leave me alone. they basically, obviously.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Their sledging was bloody, and it was massively off-putting. Now, whether it was a tactic or not, but obviously I'm at the source. I'm the source, aren't I? You know, like 9, you're the one controlling the backs and the forwards. And they would grab my jersey, they would pull me down, they would sledge me, they would tell me that I'm out of place out here. Look, you shouldn't even be playing this type of standard of rugby. You know, like, look what you're doing to your team as well. And I'd drop the ball, and I was just
again.
Like,
apologise. That's mean, Zinny.
So
that's mean.
Well, it's just part of it's part of the tactics of
I
actually.
Like going to the changing room having a cry.
Yeah, because getting inside someone's head is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And if he's a key component, because I always talk about the spine of the team, number 2, number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 15. Those are the generals there. You get inside their heads, you're going to cause a problem. And I just saw that he was a young guy, and I said, right, you watch, I'm going to have a crack, and I just poked the whole day, didn't I?
Oh, mate, relentless. And they absolutely walloped us. Like, just ruthless, you
30
know.
zip or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. We weren't even in the contest. I didn't have a great day. I didn't play that well. These guys were under my skin. But you just got a real appreciation for, you know, what they were about at the time. Just a ruthless side, man. Came down with a really good game plan and just put us away completely.
Yeah.
So you imagine the traumatic experience that I had. You know, being picked on by this bloke and for having nappies, and I was a little baby, and, you know, you're not good enough, you're out here playing with the big boys now, you know, and look at what you're doing, fumbling around, blah, blah, blah. And then the next time I see him, he's in my room, I've got to go room with him.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being in the reception and said to the lady, because we haven't had any other interaction. That's the first time I played against that team and those players, because I'd come from Southland.
Yeah.
And I said to the lady, who am I rooming with? And I would have been quite happy if she said Richard Lowe. You know?
You know what? That's fantastic, because there's a comparison of actually exactly what I went through when I was a youngster.
And then I was hoping he wasn't going to be in the room. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so I actually knocked on the door, but there was no response. So I was like, great, I'm just going to throw my bags in, but he was already there. He was in the room when I walked in. The room was real dark. And, he was in bed. He's obviously having an afternoon kip or whatever.
A power nap.
Yeah. And I just remember seeing Zinny in there, and I'm like, all my fears of 6 weeks ago come back when he's been picking on me. I'm just like shaking with my bag, and I just put it down. I made a little joke about seeing that you've already got the double bed, you can have the single too. I'll lie on the floor and sleep by the TV.
Well, you could sleep sideways in that one as well, couldn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, the first thing he said to me was, mate, welcome to the All Blacks. Mate, you've had an awesome season. You're gonna be loved part of being a part of this team. Like, couldn't have been more friendly, couldn't have helped me more.
Yeah.
The times I room with him, you know, like, It's just the game, you know. What you see and perceive is certainly not what you get, you know. And I think I learnt a valuable lesson that day, that I had judged Zinny and I'd judged others in that team and didn't know them. I'd only judged them on what I'd seen from the exterior, you know. And it was great. I think I learnt more of him than in the 2.5 years I was an All Black than probably any player or coach ever taught me.
Thanks, buddy.
No, it's
that's
true.
lovely.
Yeah.
I feel like we've just had a moment. That 95 World Cup, we talked about the semi-final. The final, going into that, was it a level playing field?
No. That's what I'll say. No, definitely wasn't a level playing field. And, and it was just one of those, it was one of those things, and it was, yes, we could have won that game. But I think maybe it happened for the right reasons, but it definitely wasn't a level playing field. And I think it was. Well, all I'll say is it was. I think it was the Thursday afternoon on the Thursday afternoon at the lunch that we had. It was nice, but
what was it? What was the food?
Well, you could smell it when it came out. It was not good, but yeah, it filled our boots, but it came out quickly.
That's why 96 was so sweet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So sweet.
And doing the Test series, winning there was just beautiful, and it was that sort of appeases me to okay, equal.
I think probably what was great about 96 was you guys having been through what you went through in 95, and there was a real toughness about that group of guys that had been there.
Yep.
And obviously, nothing stings more than losing as an All Black, but it stings even more when you lose a World Cup final. And I just remember us being up in that series and you guys saying, without shadow of a doubt, you senior guys were leading it, just said, we got to get it done today.
Yep.
We don't want to go to Ellis Park and have to try and win next week. Like, this is Pretoria, Loftus, we get it done today.
Yeah.
Is there an element of, I don't want to say sour grapes or like disappointment, but when that whistle blew when you won the series and Marshy was in the background doing star jumps and just kind of ruining the whole thing, was that? Like,
no, that's absolutely exactly what you do. Absolutely, I'd be, mate. That's, mate. I was absolutely knackered on the bloody ground, but I was just like. And I was just thinking that just what everyone else is doing is just thinking, shit, we've done it. And it's, it was a moment in time where you sort of think, shit. And when I look back, when you sort of see her on the ground here I think it was Mark Andrews who was actually on the ground and he was quite upset and he actually pushed one of the All Blacks. And and you just sit there and you think, right, we've done it. And that for me, it just closes a massive door of in life, and it's it's just you've gone down that journey, and it's and you've done it, and it's but yeah, we didn't. It's fantastic. I loved it. Beautiful time.
Rugby league came knocking on the door at one point, didn't it?
Yeah, the rugby league did. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the story there? Because I heard Matthew Ridge on the Sports Cafe podcast recently saying he was involved in some conversation with you. It might have been absolute bullshit if it's come out of Ridge's mouth, but he was saying
it would have been pretty accurate, I would say.
What happened there? Can you remember?
Well, I had the temptation to go because I used to watch a lot of rugby league, and I quite liked the whole
Winfield Cup.
Well, yeah, and all the Winfield Cup in Australia was like shit. That was, and it was right next door. And there was a guy that I did know, was a guy who was involved heavily in New Zealand, was a guy called Graham Lowe, who actually, and I used to watch a lot of what Wigan were doing, and Graham Lowe was the coach, and I did tell my mum and dad, I said, look, I might, I was just thinking about, I wasn't thinking about the money, but there was a little added incentive for that there. So, knowing that where rugby probably should have been going into the amateur, and there was, I think I remember there were talks about rugby's going to be going professional, but.
It was still so unknown, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, and there was nothing concrete. You come to the new year, and then okay, another one. Here we go, and but it was we were waiting for too long. But back to the whole Ridgie, I used to, I was a plumber and gas fitter, and Ridgie was, I don't know actually what Ridgie was doing, but I used to pick him up because he couldn't get to Eden Park.
Not on his BMX.
Not on his BMX, but I just picked him up and dropped him off, but I sort of went out of my way to do the right thing as a teammate, and he was a bloody good player, and but he was just a good guy, and and then we got chatting, and I said, look, I've been talking to Graham Lowe, and he said, oh yeah, and he always used to go, oh, naked ass. And that's what he used to say sometimes. And he said, really? I said, okay. He said, well, yeah, I'm thinking about having a chat to Graham Lowe to maybe look at doing rugby league. And he went, and he thought I was taking the piss. And I said, well, no, I'm not. So yeah, I was chatting to him, and getting to the sort of the end of the game, I rang Graham Lowe up, and I just said, look, Graham, I'd like to, if there's an opportunity, I sort of introduced, I said I'd played sevens and I could and tackle and offload and all that sort of thing, and I just said, look, I'd like to see if I can actually come over and trial out to get into the Wigan team. And he said, well, and he just said, look, just hang on a sec. He said, I'm going to be leaving here. I'm going to be going to Manly. I said, would you come to Australia? And he said, no. I said, yeah. And so I waited there, and then I started the negotiations and went through, and then I brought in Ridgie, and Ridgie came on, and Graham, I remember him when he was actually at Wigan. Graham Lowe said to me, he said, Zinzan, one of the things here actually in the rugby league here, probably you don't know in the rugby union there, whatever you do, don't talk about your money. Mm-hmm. Okay, don't talk about anyone about your money. Okay, and so I said, yeah, but what about with Ridgie? He said, yeah, you can have a chat, but don't talk about your money even to him. Yeah, so it took me 6 months before I caved in on Ridgie's harassment of, just continuous, yeah. And but anyway, it was just one of those sort of things, and I just thought, oh God, and I just caved in, and I told him how much I was getting, and he just went naked ass again, and
as if whatever, that's not true, or is saying that's a lot. Like, what's he? No, what does he mean by naked ass?
Naked ass was just like, oh wow, oh wow, and I said, okay then. And then he renegotiated. He did well. He was doing his negotiations, and it was and we were talking like amateur guys.
Yeah.
So I had a lawyer, a mate of mine who was with the Maris Club, and just sort of had a chat to him and got him to organise that there. And when Ridgie and I asked Ridgie, I said, well, how much are you getting here? And I said, well, I can't tell you. And I went, I did exactly what you did. Yeah. Have a little chuckle to myself. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So how much are you getting?
Yeah, so how much are you getting? And he said, can't tell you. I said, yeah, no, come on, you tell me. And he wouldn't. And I went, you know what? And it brings me back to the point where, I've done it, fucking picked you up and da-da-da-da-da-da, taken you to Auckland training, da-da-da, and did all those little things there, and you're going to do that there? I said, I'm not fucking doing this. And that's when I didn't turn up to the press conference. And I never,
really?
Yeah, I didn't turn up to the press conference, and I never
go to rugby
league. And I that's why I never did it. Just because of you're going to do that there. For me, teammates are more important, and that there just
stung.
Yeah, and I just thought, wow, okay. And you're going to be in the same team, and you're going to do that there? Nah, not doing that.
Oh, well, that's so good, though. Thank God for Ridgie.
Yes, Ridgie.
Yeah.
We would have had Zinzan Brooke. Man,
what year was that?
Play with you. We far out.
Bloody hell, yeah. God, that's...
But my is this before the 95, 96, 97?
Yeah.
Reggie, legend.
Yeah. Might be a twat, you're a genius.
Yeah. Like... No. Yeah, no, that was... it was back in the days, and it was like.
What position were you going to play?
I was I got to play loose. I could be top or go, yeah. No, I would have been in the 40, but God, they don't scrum, do they? They just hit, ball out, play.
Yeah,
maybe like a Brad Fittler type player, back row, standoff.
Yeah, but
centre.
I could run an offload, and you could start doing like little tiny things where you sort of just. But it was and it's lucky that I didn't actually ever. It never went there, but it's but it was. I think I could have done it. Because I think I had these skill sets.
Of course you did.
On the left and the right hand.
Yeah.
You would have smashed
wrap around. I could easily do that with a left hand as well.
That's such a good story.
Yeah.
Such a good story.
But that's taken to nothing. But look, Reggie did what he did.
Yeah,
and that's how he wants to operate. But I don't do shit like that. I don't stitch up your teammates. I'm loyal to. Everyone's equal.
It's that business friendship thing.
Correct.
And some people are friends with someone because it's business, and some are because they're teammates and friends. And it's sometimes people that are more friends than business get stitched up because they've got that loyalty and that friendship.
Yeah.
Whereas the other person's the business and you don't see it.
Yeah. And that's part of
You mentioned you love your rugby league. If you want to keep watching the NRL, NordVPN doing a deal with the podcast at the moment, so you can watch any streaming services from around the world. So what it does, NordVPN, is you can put let's say you're in the UK, which you are, and you want to stream something from Australia or New Zealand or anywhere in the world, you can, with the NordVPN, you can locate yourself in that location and use your streaming services to watch those games.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. Good security on it as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are doing a discount for your NordVPN plan. Go to the description of this podcast and click on the NordVPN link, and you also get 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, and the link is in the podcast description.
Yes, NordVPN.
Thank you, NordVPN.
Lovely.
From what you saw from the weekend, is there enough there in this All Black side to be able to go to Dublin and beat this Irish side?
Well, I think they can. But I can tell you right here and now that Irish won't be afraid of the Blacks.
Yeah,
and because of what's happened to them as a team, and that's galvanised them as another strength and a huge cog in the wheel for them of making sure that the All Blacks, they would watch that game. And I thought that there would have been a good lesson to Ireland. Just got to go, righto, guys, we're going to have to play a game now because this All Black side is, they know that they shouldn't have won the game. But they did. They did, and
they'll be better for it.
And they'll be better for it. And they'll respect the All Blacks of how they produced that performance. So, I'm still going to sit with the All Blacks, but I still think it's going to be a 50-50. I'd love us to rub their nose in it, but Ireland are a team that they want. The one thing that they won't be is they won't be afraid of the Blacks, and that's going to be a big indicator of how the All Blacks are going to perform.
Well, there's already some spice, though, isn't there, with what I don't know if you caught it, what Johnny Sexton said about Rieko Ioane, sledging him. So,
there's so much spice.
Yeah, but there was history, because when the Irish came out 2 years ago, whenever it last
to New Zealand.
Yeah, it was in 2022.
Yeah. And I think it was Omani said something to Sam Cane.
You're a shit Richie McCaw.
Really?
So they started it, and then
they definitely started
the All Blacks are aware of.
I wasn't aware of that.
They were aware of that. So then, obviously, when they beat them in the quarterfinal, that's when Rieko Ioane made the comment to.
Well, exactly right.
Enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
If you're going to
give it out,
you've got to take it as well. Sorry to say, Ireland, but you didn't need to get motivated back in the day playing you guys. So that's well, you didn't. You turn up and you kick their ass and do the job. Because there's sometimes you don't have to. You don't have.
Well, when
you know if you've got the headspace on the team, and and I remember times, and there was, but I never told any other players in the All Black side. I just knew we were in the zone, and you just knew, right, if we just deliver and we just function and we just have to do the basics. If you do the basics well, because some teams don't do that, and you'll piss this.
Yeah.
And that's
how you viewed Ireland.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think
it's not the only team.
No.
It's not the only team. There are other teams there that you just sit there and you just, you're just enjoying the day. And,
Well, a massive advantage that we had when we played is they'd never beaten us.
Yeah.
So history was hanging over them as well. And that's quite heavy baggage to have, knowing that for over 100 years you've been trying. And so we know that you've got all the pressure because you don't know how to get the job done, whereas we do because we've been doing it for over 100 years.
Yeah.
So that was why we had that type of arrogance because Scotland's obviously never beaten us, Ireland never beaten us. When we were playing, Argentina had never beaten us.
Yeah.
Wales hadn't beaten us and still haven't in 60 odd years. So all of a sudden we've got that mentality, whereas this current side with Ireland beating them for the first time in Chicago, that's not a burden for them anymore.
Yeah.
So the dynamics changed from when we were playing because we had that edge.
Yeah.
Just quickly, do Australia, JP's called it that they're going to kick off their Grand Slam this weekend.
Being the merciless. He's put it out there. Australia Grand Slam champions in a month's time. Fuck me, I can't wait to see that bloody unfold.
Got a chance against England?
Oh, my God.
Australia?
Yeah.
You can't. You don't write the Aussies off.
No, I never write an Aussie off.
Don't write the Aussies off because the fact is that I was actually concerned when I went back to NZ 3 weeks ago in that Bledisloe Cup match, and I went down there and I watched that there, and I felt the first 25 minutes I was going, shit. Okay, Australia haven't scored, which is good. Well, no, they did. They did, but
they should have been more ahead.
They should have been more ahead of us here, and we just slid in there on the closing stages of the first half, and it was just like, wow, okay, right. And I didn't see that from Australia, but they actually were the better side in the first about 25 minutes. All Blacks came in, scored a couple of tries here, and then they closed the door, and I was going, okay. Didn't see that, but it was an Aussie side that couldn't shut the door, and in the second half they were nowhere near. They weren't anywhere near the game.
I think they'll beat England.
I don't, but I think that I don't think England's going to get it all their own way, and I think they're going to pick a better balanced side. It'll be interesting to see if England, Lee gets his opportunity or not.
Yeah, but you would agree if England can actually perform, just like that they did against the All Blacks, like that there. If they can actually play that there, they'll actually. That's going to be difficult for Australia.
Yeah,
that was a good performance, and I'm still going to say it again, but. We shouldn't have won that. That's quite hard.
You're going to upset everyone here in the studio again. They know that as well.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, how the hell did the All Blacks beat us? So
but it doesn't.
It's like rubbing it into them even more.
Yeah, and I don't. I want to know. What is that? A tactical substitution of actually taking Marcus Smith off here because he was my man of the match, and I'm sitting there and I was going, what the hell? That's got to be injured. It's got to be injured. And they say, and I didn't see an injury.
Was that a bad substitution?
Well, why the guy the cog in the wheel?
Yeah, he's not. He wasn't harming the team. He was influencing the team.
Yeah.
And when a player's being influential like that, getting a guy to come off the bench cold, it can change. It can change the flow.
Well, no.
Yeah, exactly.
And to close the door, it's like
you've got to be thinking, unless he's gassed. If you want the guy that's been out there for 78 minutes kicking that goal, then that's the person to execute because they're not going to be overawed by the situation because they've been in that situation for 78, 79 minutes already. So you're just pulling the trigger, So
Marcus Smith was outstanding.
He was, and you just got to wonder whether or not sometimes coaches overthink their substitutes. Like
it's not the first time that Marcus Smith has been brought off early as well.
We'll see. Yes, the same thing happened to Need, and then they ended up bringing him back on, didn't they? Because of an injury. But it'll be interesting. So, some real spice in these autumn internationals. I think Zinny hit the nail on the head by saying they're all contests now. They're all competitive. Like you can hardly separate those top 5, 6
Scotland
teams
as
in
well.
the world at the moment. Scotland, South Africa this weekend. How good's that going to be?
They've got a
Sell
shot.
out. How good's that place? Like the lone, the lone piper. Bagpipes on top of the roof, and the bloody lights go out, and
the flowers of Scotland. Oh, when we see the lights again, you thought that she died for your wee hill again and stood against them. Proud of his army, who's in them homewards to think again. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain. For we can still rise now and be a nation again that stood against them. So proud of his army that sent them homewards to think again.
Oh, that is a wrap on G-Brands.
Just so that you know, I used to sing, because I love the Scottish anthem. And I used to sing it with them.
thanks for joining us, Zin. Absolute legend, mate. And to have you on this show has been like outstanding. Really appreciate your time.
Absolute pleasure, buddy.
I know, because your time is precious, very precious. So
6 kids.
We're thrilled to have you on board, my mate. And equally, I was thrilled this morning because Angel Bay has delivered me for the first time my breakfast burger, because you brought it all the way from New Zealand for me.
The gourmet breakfast beef sausage patties.
Oh my goodness, it was what a great way to start the day. Like an Angel Bay breakfast burger.
Super convenient as well, because when you get them, they're not pre-cooked, they're part-cooked. Big difference there. Chuck them straight onto the barbecue.
Oh man,
which is what we did this morning.
I just put mine in the pan and it was beautiful.
I want to have one now.
I bet you do.
Hey, I bet you do. I bet you do.
We'll get you one.
Yeah.
G-Brands is stoked to be partnering with Angel Bay to bring you the Northern Tour with their new gourmet breakfast beef sausage patties, the perfect pairing for those early morning games.
I'm hungry again.
And we have a competition going at the moment. Go to our Instagram page to check it out. Basically, you can win up to $500 worth of kit. So there's a big air fryer. There's heaps of vouchers to get yourself some of these delicious burgers. And there's also a chance for you and 3 mates to go and watch the Ireland game or the French game at a cinema in Auckland or Christchurch, whichever one you're closest to. Watch the game live in a cinema, and yeah, that'll be epic. So go to the Instagram page, tag some mates in, and you're in the draw.
Get involved.
Brilliant.
Getting Bay, you legends. Thank you very much for getting us over here.
Legends. Thank you so much.
And thank you very much to the GBR team for letting us hijack your studio.
Oh my goodness, guys. So good.
And a quick shout out to JP, who's on Baby Watch.
Oh yeah, Ming the Merciless. He'll be tuning in to see that game at the weekend. Baby in arms.
Grand slam. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching as well.